Hello everybody and welcome. I'm Cindy Daychuck with Queen Bee Creations. Thanks for joining me today. Now I have had these natural wood cutting boards from JRV. I don't think they make them anymore, but they've got the little Jamie Ray vintage burn stamp on it. So I've had them forever sitting in the back, and I could certainly do them up just as a decorative piece, right? I could decoupage on them, do those kinds of things. And I still have others. So I have a chicken, I have a sheep, and I have a pig. And I could stencil on them, I could do all kinds of things. But one of the things that I was thinking about was doing them up as actual cutting boards, not as a decorative item, and doing it with natural finishes so that they could be used as a cutting board or as a charcuterie board, that it would be food safe. Now there are certain paints, there's certain like milk paints, for example, that have gone through the rigorous testing to be able to say that they are food safe. There are other paints that technically are food safe but have not gone through the rigorous testing to say that. What I wanted to do though was do this in a way with products that we know are food safe, that there's no worries whatsoever, and that we could seal them and that you could have fun doing this on your own. So we're gonna use coffee. This is just a ground coffee, instant coffee from the dollar store, because I don't drink coffee. If you have leftover coffee, you could use that. What I wanted to do though, and I have this a little bit of warm water, I just wanted to mix this up so it was fairly strong coffee. You know, and you probably, see, look, it's the stain on my spoon. You've probably seen me do, if you've watched my channel for a while, you've seen me do like some coffee washes and staining on antique furniture and things. What I don't know before I start here is how porous this wood is, so how much it's gonna suck up and how precise I could be. So what I thought that I would do is start with my little rooster before I did something that was more specific. And I just wanted to see how well it kind of took the stain and how much it kind of bled through into the wood, if in fact it does at all. So I'm thinking about this kind of being almost two-toned in the sense that we're going to apply it on with the idea. So here I'm thinking just painting it on like it's a big feather, right, on this guy, so that I can just kind of leave it to soak in. I want to do on some of the others something a little bit more detailed, and that's why I wanted to start with this one just to see how porous or how much it kind of bled out, so that if I was doing something a little bit more detailed, could I? Would it even work? So far, I'm looking, oops, big drip. So far, I'm looking at it, and it's very slow to soak in. There is some bleed through, which means it's fuzzing of the edges, but not too bad. The other side to this, of course, is that when I go to seal this, and we'll be using, again, a food grade sealer for this, then that will also darken the natural wood part of this. Let me just get this going where it's very heavy. Let me see if I can. I'm just looking at the pieces that I won't want this dark. And I would do ultimately both sides and the edging, right? So it's kind of looking like this so far. And you can see, some of the fuzzing. See how it's kind of, I'm just trying to decide how much that bothers me relative to doing, you know, maybe a more detailed stenciled kind of pattern. So I'm gonna do this on the other side of this. I'm just debating whether or not I do a big wing. Why not? Why not? Now I'm gonna see whether or not I could get away with polka dots. I don't know if stenciling is gonna work, quite honestly, because this is fairly liquid and it could bleed through underneath a lot, but if you don't try, you never know. Because this is very watery, you want to make sure that you really kind of offload your brush. Start, because I have larger circles, I can start in the center and then work my way out so that I don't have as wet a brush when I hit that outside edge. It's still gonna bleed through, and some, you know, kind of like leak underneath. Even if it's not, you're gonna end up with the wood kind of sucking it into other directions, right? It's just going to move through the wood. So the odds are not good that you're gonna get a perfectly crisp line. And that's just the nature of this, because it's staining into the wood. The wood's absorbing that liquid versus painting on the surface of it. But some wood, the harder the wood, the less of that bleed through you're gonna have. The softer the wood, the more of it. This is a fairly soft wood, so I'm probably not destined to get it nice and light. If you want this darker, then your best bet is to restain it. So lay your template over top again and then add more stain afterward. The sheep I had just done solid with the idea that I would take kind of the dregs of the coffee that have kind of condensed down. I've poured out some over there, and I'm just looking to kind of draw rough little curlicues. And nothing super fancy or precise. This will fade. I'm not sure how much it's actually even going to show up once I oil this, but I figure, you know what, as long as you're experimenting and playing, let's see. So I'm going to cover the entire body, all the brown sections, with just little, simple little curlicues. All right, our blocks have had overnight to dry, so the coffee stain is dry. And what I have done is I've applied Fusion hemp oil. This is a food grade hemp oil, perfect for butcher blocks, awesome for cutting boards. I've done it to one side so that you could see the difference. See how it brings out the golden color in the wood? The color it brings out is going to be dependent upon that wood, obviously. And applying it is no more complicated than, I just like putting it on my brush first. You could just dump it right on your wood if you want to. But I just brush it on and then leave it to soak in for a couple of minutes, right? Because the wood's thirsty and you're kind of treating that wood. So I'll let that sit. It does not smear, whoops, it does not smear the coffee stain because the coffee stain is fully absorbed now. And when, you know, in about 10 minutes, I'll come by and I'll just wipe off any excess. Our sheep that we had done our little coffee swirls on, when it is sealed, they all stay. So the good news about that is that if you're doing this, you can let each of your layers dry and add additional details to it, right? Add more details, layering the colors. So it gives you a lot more flexibility in your design by doing something like that, all using just one natural food safe dye that you either have in your cupboard if you're a coffee drinker or can easily get for $1 from the dollar store. And it doesn't have to be a coffee that you're willing to drink. It just has to be something that I'm just using an instant coffee, and we still get great results with it. And these are perfectly ready to be used as a charcuterie board, as a cutting board, food safe, not an issue. So again, you could do this with any of these kind of decorative boards, but any cutting board that you happen to have or that you pick up. You can just sand them down to raw wood. If they've got a finish already on them, you can stain them up however you want with whatever design you want. Bear in mind, just kind of test as you go, because every wood is going to absorb the stain differently. So if you're really trying to get a very precise look, probably not what's going to work for this, because the stain is going to seep into the wood. But if you're looking for, you know, general shapes and, you know, rough designs that you're able to put on it, this is our little rooster. Oh, there's his head. There's our little rooster. Then you're able to work that really well, just using coffee and a little bit of food safe hemp oil. Let me know what you think of this one, guys. Let me know if you're going to give it a try. As always, certainly open to hearing anything that you've got to say about it. I love seeing all your comments, and I definitely love seeing you on this channel for the next one. See you then. Take care.